Hey everybody, it's Greg Rice. We're here at Nexus Property Management and you're tuned in to episode 3 of Your Property Managed. And today with us we have Joshua Choppy.
Pleasure to meet you, Greg.
I just met Josh today. He was nominated by our good friend John LaPointe, so we're excited to see who you, Josh, nominate for the next guest.
That's the big question.
So, where did you come from? Because I didn't even hear your name up until like 2 months ago.
I started in November
Okay.
of 2019. I'm based in Rhode Island. I was born and raised in Rhode Island. I went to school at New England Tech
Okay.
for a year and a half. New England Tech's fantastic. I learned, digital media production. And, we went for a year and a half. I got my associate's degree, which is great. And then the world kind of went berserk.
Yep.
And my schooling got put on hold. But since I started this stuff in November, everybody started reaching out to me for real estate photography work because it's very important to really represent a property well
For sure.
during that time. And so I got started kind of just meeting as many people as I can. People would throw me a listing here, a listing there, and then before you know it, we're just doing listings every day, like between 3 to 6 listings a day, I guess you would say. So it's going nuts. But I started not so long ago. I haven't been doing this for that long, but in the time that I have, it's been a lot of fun.
Wow.
And I've met a lot of great people from it. Just connecting with as many people as I can on Facebook. I'm just trying to not kind of get in their face too much, but just kind of show them what I'm here to do and provide a quality product. And if they want to work with me, they work with me. If they don't, no hard feelings, no problem. So just kind of building up my network and reputation.
So pretty much school happened, and then within a couple months, you're like taking off like a rocket ship.
Right, because it just kind of gave me that extra time when school kind of went on hold because of what has been going on.
Yeah.
Because of it going on hold, it allowed me to free up some time, and people were like, "Oh, I'm going to use Joshua Choppy because."
Yeah.
And then I just kept doing it, and I didn't have anything really holding me back, and I still don't have anything holding me back because right now I'm on hold with school, and I'm on hold until further notice, until I just decide maybe I go back, maybe I don't. We'll see.
Right.
But it's kind of just a full-time ride right now.
Wow.
It's a lot of fun.
So let's pause right there, right? So before school started,
Yep.
what were you doing?
So before school started, I was a graduate of Coventry High School, class of 2018. School started October 2018. Within that time period, I picked up my first and second job. I was a cashier at a local grocery store, and then while I was a cashier at that grocery store, I picked up another job from one of the customers who started his own ice cream place. So that really kind of was like the foundation of
What grocery store?
Dave's Market.
Oh, I love Dave's.
Dave's is good.
Which one?
East Greenwich.
Okay, I go to the one in Warwick.
Yeah, they got a lot going on.
And the best thing about Dave's Market is what?
Their customer service skills are on point.
They are old school, and even, just the vibe that you get when you go in there, you feel like it's the old corner store, like they know your name kind of thing. It's not like a big box and like robots walking around.
Right, and I think one of the things is that like all the other big box stores are moving towards self-checkout, but I don't think Dave's is going to ever go there anytime soon because they really pride themselves in that person-to-person connection, and service with a smile is one of the sayings I believe that they have, and so they really encourage you to do your best, and the customer comes first, and that's how I model my business.
So my question was going to be, what did you take from your experience at Dave's? Was it the customer service? Was it conflict resolution? Was it 24/7 service? Like, what was it that you really pulled out of Dave's that you bring into your customers?
So I'd say a little bit of everything. We have some conflict resolution there, but being a cashier, you only know so much, but you have to bring in some, supervisor people that will help with that. But you get to watch how they handle a conflict. Like maybe the price is marked wrong and a customer is frustrated. that the price is, say it's marked $5, but they're selling it for $10 or something crazy like that. It's just like a mess up. So, you just kind of learn to like resolve that problem and make sure that the customer is happy at the end of the day. I also learned how to connect with strangers. Strangers is a key because everybody that I've met so far since I really started this they were strangers. I didn't know them. I'm working with hundreds of people a day.
Yep.
Bagging their groceries, making sure that they're happy, making sure everything's done properly, making sure, they're some people at Dave's, they're bagging, it has to be very perfect.
Yep.
So that, everybody has a different
Double
way,
bagging,
double bags,
the
just different
crease
varieties of bagging. And so, you learn the different types of customer and you make sure that you please them. And that's important. And so you learn different variations. You learn how to deal with people that, are frustrated and want to speak to management right away or different, just different. There's a different person, different walks of life. Everybody needs groceries. And so you're going to deal with everybody, all sorts of different personalities. And
True.
it's a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun when I worked there. It was hard to leave, but I don't regret the decision.
Right.
It was a good learning experience for the time that I was there, and learned a lot of different customer service aspects.
And then the ice cream parlor.
Oh, of course. Another great one.
Did they let you eat?
Oh, we got to eat. That's important. You already know. They made sure ice cream was free.
Which place was this?
It's Utter Delights. It's in Coventry. They opened up their first and second location just last year, and they've been doing pretty well. I think. I still talk to my friend who works there. She's doing great. They're doing great. So small businesses, it's important.
So vital.
Yeah, and they're doing fantastic. I know. And it was first year. You never know how sink or swim, but so far so good. I'd say seems to be doing a really great job.
Awesome.
With their business and their marketing online and all that good stuff, and they're just bringing people in, and they make some really good ice cream, and they're mixing it up. So shout out to Utter Delights.
Utter
Right?
Delights. What street?
It's I believe it's Main Street in Coventry.
Okay.
It's right near the library in Coventry.
Cool.
Coventry Public Library. It's not too far from there.
So you grew up in Coventry.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So I'm from Connecticut originally. I grew up in a town called Naugatuck, which I would say is similar to Coventry because it has about 40,000 people. It's suburban, but also you got the density there, like you're close to the city, you can get access to things. So what was your experience like growing up in Coventry? Like, what were you doing as a kid? Were you playing Little League? Were you playing sports? Were you a Boy Scout? Were you Cub Scout? Like, what were you doing?
You hit the nail on the head on a bunch of different things there. I did Little League for probably like 8 years.
Okay.
Coventry Little League baseball, loved it. Every time I hit a big hit, that was great.
Yeah.
And I didn't hit a big hit all the time, but when you do,
it's like
yes,
yes,
like that's good, and everybody roots for you, and the coach gives you the game ball, which is great. It just feels good.
Yep.
And in the crowd, when you work your way up, and the fields get bigger too.
Yep.
So that's a lot of fun. I also did Boy Scouts.
Okay.
I'm an Eagle Scout.
Really?
So
that's at the top of the
top rank in Boy Scouts, which is really great experience. I was doing that for I think 7 years. Learned a lot of community service through that, a lot of life skills. Nothing really specific. A lot of being resourceful, utilizing the tools that you have in front of you, and making something out of it. And I got to go camping, and my family weren't campers. So when I got to go camping, the first time I went camping, it was a lot of fun, and I just kept going and going and going. And there's a camp that we would go to for the summer. We'd go for a whole week. Can't see anybody in your family until like 5 days later, and it was good.
Wow.
It was a good experience. It was a great summer camp program. Swimming, hiking, zip lining, fishing, all of it. So canoeing, kayaking. So that was great. They just taught me a lot of different skill sets, and we did a lot of community service projects. Part of becoming an Eagle Scout is you got to manage your own community service project.
Yep.
And so mine was actually, there was the middle school in Coventry. It's Ellen Shawn Feinstein Middle School of Coventry. Yep. Their front entry point, their garden was a little bit, wasn't in the best shape.
Yep.
They had like a cement wall, and it was like deteriorated, and water got into it, and it rotted kind of away. So that was rough. And the garden was weeded and dry, and all sorts of it was a mess. So my project was to face the concrete wall, face it with wood to make it, just give it a nice cover. Just to you're not going to break down the concrete, but something to make it look better than what it was already there. Then we planted, like flowers, bushes, whatnot. And it took a while. It took longer than I anticipated. I think I anticipated like 3 days, but we were there for probably a week all in to get like the whole project done. But that was great because it was like a good leadership role for me, because part of being a leader is you lead, obviously you pitch in if you have to, but being kind of like the overseer of the project and gathering up the right people to get the project done was part of the role of getting this project complete. Yeah, I had to pitch in, of course,
Sure.
Get down and dirty and get it all done. But being the kind of person to like manage the project from afar, making sure that the people that said that they would donate the stuff donated, which was great because I got to connect with businesses, be like, hey, like Lowe's, I want you to donate some wood if you can. If you can, thank you. If you can't, no problem. But like kind of getting in front of them and telling them the plan and the idea.
And selling yourself.
Right, telling them what we're going to do and how it's going to benefit the community. I set up a whole, for like the committee and the Boy Scout troop, I set up a whole like a sales pitch, like a big PowerPoint presentation about how this will benefit the state, the town, and all the different reasons about why it'll be a good project for them. And they approved it. They loved my presentation. So that was kind of being an entrepreneur in itself already. So just different things, kind of just gathering up all the right people and the right pieces to get the job done.
Interesting. And I think the biggest part of that was going to places like Lowe's cold. You're going cold. You're going in nervous. You're going in like, I don't know, are they going to go for this? Are they going to kick me out? Is this going to embarrass me? But that toughens you up, and that gives you the ability now, probably to go in front of a customer who's got this beautiful big house, and you say, yeah, sure, no problem, I can handle this. Like, you probably hardened skills that most people don't even ever polish up in their whole life. So asking for stuff. And
it was great. And it was great because they saw the benefit in it.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure like every big, whether you're a big box store or a local small business, I think everybody wants to see if they could help out the community as best as they can. So I think Lowe's was all for it. This was a few years back, but I think Lowe's was one of the people that helped out. Then we got some local places I think that helped out as well. They slipped my mind now because it's been a little while and I've been running 100 miles an hour. But, it was the community responded well and they all pitched in with what they can.
Sweet.
I got a good parent in the community in the Boy Scout troop that was really good with construction, and I'm not good with construction, so we kind of made sure that the construction part of facing the wall was great. And so just gathering up the right people to get the job complete, to really give a good gift for the town, was something that really meant a lot to me.
And that made you an Eagle Scout, right? That was your final.
Yeah, that was
thesis.
the final. That was like the final piece to the project, amongst other things. You got to get a certain amount of badges, and the badges that you do need to get are specific, like life things.
Skills.
Like it's like swimming. Either you can do, another one is life saving, so like actually like kind of being a lifeguard. Another one was I like this one a lot, personal management. And that's like resource management. So like if you want to save up for your next iPad or something, you kind of set up a budget and you make sure, that you have the right funding to buy it, Maybe you do chores around the house to get there. So that was a good one. There was another one where I had to do, it was like family life, And so you have to do like chores around the house, and you got to record got to keep a log of each chore that you do and when you do it. You got to do it a certain amount of times, straight through, like consistently.
I would fail that section.
Right? Yeah, that was a tough one. So they taught there was just they dip your feet into a variety of different skill sets that you wouldn't really dive into. I mean, some people do. Some people are passionate about a variety of different things. But this is like a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and it all kind of
molds together.
Yeah, it's just different aspects of life.
Cool.
Which was a lot of fun. Just different
So where
things.
did the photography come in?
So here's a good one. So my dad, he
whose name is
Alan.
Alan Choppy.
Alan Choppy. He had a camera as soon as I was born. My sister was born a few years after me. He would take our Christmas pictures, documented our Christmas mornings and this and that and the other thing, and just the documentarian of the family.
Okay.
Video, photo.
Yep.
I remember cold days in Roger Williams Park to get the Christmas card just right.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
There, he's probably like,
he's like, smile, smile. Teeth, no teeth. Teeth, no teeth. Just different things like that. And so that kind of led that. And then, so he had the camera. And then I got into doing tech reviews on YouTube. That was something that I was passionate about for years prior to starting. And so I learned how to do video stuff on there. And there's like, we're kind of going and going, but I also want to do photo stuff too. I think photos are cool. And so I ended up stopping doing the YouTube stuff, but I ended up doing more of like the local stuff and the local things. Local people had me do local videos. And so I kind of did like little business things during high school, but nothing to the extent that I'm doing now. The things that kind of polished me up to what I do now. And I don't know, I always had a knack for real estate. Real estate's cool. Real estate's fun, but, I do a variety of other things, too.
Interesting. So what's a typical day like for you? Like today you said you got a couple appointments. What's a normal day or even a normal week? Why don't you take us through that?
Let's see. Normal week, stack up the appointments.
Which is realtors calling you or
Yep, realtors
brokers?
calling, texting, brokers, different people. Sometimes some people have a flip they want me to do. I'll do that. Just different types of aspects in real estate. Interior designers, I want to get into that. That'd be fun. So they all kind of text me, call me. They make sure that they get in touch with me before I get booked, and I'm making sure it's known now that I'm booked, so that people know to plan accordingly.
Yep.
So that they know that I'm here to help them, but I'm booked. So I'm going to make sure that I accommodate the people that booked, so that they could keep on.
Yeah.
I'm booking out, booking a couple weeks out. This week I'm fully booked, I think. I mean, I could probably squeeze somebody in if I wanted to.
But how like long is an appointment? Is it 2 hours? Is it?
I'd say my average appointment is an hour.
Okay.
But that's not including the ones that take 3 hours. But I'd say like it kind of like I don't do the 3 hours ones often. I maybe do 1 3-hour one every couple of weeks, and that's
what would be a 3-hour one?
A 3-hour one includes it would be like a full package. So it'd be photos. It would be like the Matterport, the 3D,
Yep.
like the walkthrough click thing. Then it would be a floor plan and then maybe a video. And, it all varies based on the size of the house. If I'm doing photos on a 6,000 square foot house, I'm going to budget 3 hours just to do pictures, nothing else. If I'm doing photos, Matterport, floor plan video on a 2,000 square foot house, just say, I'll probably budget about 3 hours for that. But that's, you're doing a variety of different things.
And it's 3 hours on site or 3 hours total to get the product to the customer?
3 hours on site and then another few hours to edit all the stuff.
And are you doing all this yourself?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Are you looking to add anybody to your team?
Absolutely.
What are you looking for? Why don't you tell
I'm afraid to go on vacation.
That's how you know you're successful.
To put it that way. I mean, I have a vacation planned for the end of August, but I need people that are going to fill in for me, that are going to do a good job. So I'm always looking to add maybe like a couple like contractor people just in there
So
to kind
what
of
would
shoot.
a contractor do? Would they do exactly what your job is?
Yes.
So like a fill-in almost.
Pretty much a fill-in. I'd send them to a house. All they have to do is probably just shoot. I want to make sure that their product meets, expectation of myself and my clients. I wouldn't send somebody to one of my clients' properties if I didn't trust them. So I'm not just gonna send anybody out there without they have a camera. Okay, great. But I want to make sure
Got it.
that they fit the criteria
bill.
that I'm looking for.
Well, what I would say is this: you're very young. You're very successful very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And what's going to happen is, Rhode Island's a small state, as you've seen.
Right.
The amount of love that you're going to get is going to be massive.
Right.
Very quickly. So my suggestion to you, and somebody told us too when we first started, is don't grow too quickly.
Right.
Because what could happen is your service could suffer for this group of clients, but you're doing great service for this group. There's only one Joshua Choppy.
Right.
So you got to think about maybe getting an intern, maybe getting a classmate that you went to school with,
Yeah.
somebody on the back burner, so that you can have maybe somebody editing and you shooting, or
Right.
you editing and them shooting. Like, think about your expansion before it gets to be like, oh my God, I can't even.
Right. I can't even handle it.
I can't even go to the beach for the day because I'm too busy.
Yeah. Exactly.
So have you put any thought into that?
I have. I've been trial running. I'm probably gonna have another trial run with somebody else soon. But basically, how it works is I'll bring them on with me. I'll introduce them to the client, and I'll just have them shoot the house while I shoot the same house. Just have two different. Because I do it, but I want to make sure they have to get the experience themselves too.
Sure.
So in order for them to get the experience, they have to be at a house to do it. I mean, they could practice on their own house, but that only goes so well.
So far.
And so that's pretty much the criteria that I'm looking for, is basically somebody that could kind of take my advice or my little nitpicks that I have on maybe how an image is made.
Right.
And we'll kind of run with that. And so
you got to groom them.
Right, just kind of shape them up, make sure that they're at least 90% of what I produce, so that I'm not afraid to go on vacation. I could be say somebody comes to me from a real estate brokerage and they're a great client of mine, but be like, hey, I'm sorry, Susan, I'm on vacation this week, but I have somebody that's going to do a fantastic job for you while I'm gone.
Perfect.
That's what I want.
That's what you're going to get.
And that's what I'm going to look. That's why I'm being very selective.
Yep.
And I'm not trying to get this person up and running too quickly.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the plan. I'm not trying to be like, okay, I met you today. Okay, you got your first 5 houses tomorrow. It's not going to work like that.
You're going to shadow you.
You got to bring them on for a couple houses.
Yep.
Make sure they understand, how my brand presents itself.
Awesome.
I want good customer service. I want, client has a question or a problem. I want their questions to be answered.
Yep.
If they want to get a hold of me, absolutely. Give them my phone number. They can call me anytime. Even if I'm on vacation, I'll pick up the phone, talk with them.
Good man.
So, yeah, maybe I'm not present or I'm not there.
Yep.
But that doesn't mean that I don't, I have all the intention to be there, and I have the best interest for them.
Absolutely. And just like here, I'm not at every apartment. I'm not at every maintenance call. I can't, and that's not the best use of my time.
You can't split yourself in 5 pieces.
But people try. But the point is, they know that, all right, Greg's in charge, so the people that are below him get it.
Right.
So they're going to know, all right, Josh is in charge, so I can rest assured.
Yeah, Josh is not going to send somebody that's going to do a bad job.
Correct.
And I will never do that. And if that does happen, if somebody does it, it will be in my best interest to either refund them, or I'll go out and do it myself if I'm actually, in the state, if I'm not on vacation or something. But I'll do it myself.
Yeah.
I'll do it myself. I'll go in there and make it happen. But I'm not going to let that happen. That's the bottom line. I'm going to make sure that the person that I work with is somebody that I trust and somebody that can learn in a fast-moving environment.
Mm-hmm.
We do 25 houses a week. It seems on a fast week, on a big week, we do like 25. So I want somebody that can handle that. Well, not somebody that's going to handle all 25, but somebody that can handle a good workload. Somebody that can handle maybe a couple of houses a day, you know? Somebody that'll be able
That's
to,
a lot.
yeah.
What do you charge for a house, an average house?
Average, I'd say I average about 200 for an average house. But that's like, you know, there's lower price houses, and then there's bigger houses. Like, and I don't charge by the price. I charge by square footage.
Got it.
And so the smaller the house, the lower, and the bigger the house is going to be a little bit more. So I'd probably say like a sweet spot, like a middle ground between the two is around $200. But you know, then people have add-ons. People have the Matterport and the floor plan, like we were talking
Which
about.
I love the Matterport.
It's good, really
You
valuable.
could be like, oh my god, my table can't fit there. Skip this house.
Measure it.
Yeah, or you could say, oh, this is perfect, and then, oh wait, turn that around, and it's like, before you even get to the house, you might know that you want it.
Right.
So there's so much value in that Matterport that I think people should use that more often.
I got it because of what we're going through right now. I was able
That
to
too.
start it going. So it's kind of just like another service that I got to offer, and it's definitely done great job for my clients. And the people that use it. The people that don't, no problem. It's just another thing that I offer, and I'm glad that I was able to get it to be able to handle the clients that want it. Because, you know, I want to bring, if someone wants something, I'm going to do my best to bring it to the table.
Awesome. So regular photos is the baseline.
Right, regular photos.
Matterport is second.
Yeah.
And then
there's like, you know, you can do Matterport. Then you can do like the 2D floor plan where you just see the layout on like blueprint format. And then there's videos as well. So we'll do video.
And what about the ever popular drone photo?
Yes.
Do you do those too?
Absolutely, yeah.
I love that, but I think some people kill it in the sense like it's all drone photos,
No,
and it's like,
you don't need all drone photos. You
like,
gotta get a vibe.
There's
of
the
everything.
woods, and there's a lake. Let's see the house.
Right.
Like,
you gotta get a good vibe of all
mix
of
it in.
You gotta get some of the scenery.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if it's on the water, you get some water stuff. Then you get some good front angle shots with the regular camera. Then you gotta really make it pop off inside.
Absolutely.
That's the goal.
The money shot, we call it. We take pictures for the rentals,
Yeah.
and we always lead off what's called the money shot, and it's usually the kitchen or the living room, like the most focal point or the most used point.
The one
of
that
the
people
house.
love.
Correct.
If people love the kitchen's according to many of my clients, the kitchen is the most important room in the house.
The bedroom second.
Yes.
And then I would say the yard.
Oh, if it's a really nice backyard, get a nice
yard.
deck
Yep.
or something, you're gonna make sure it's popping for a nice summer barbecue.
For sure.
That's the goal. A lot of houses I've been to, I love a nice deck.
For sure.
If it has a good deck, you know, you got fire pits and fire tables and a nice grill and good seating, and
That
maybe
could
they
sell
put
it
the
too.
cabana thing over it or the
Yep.
tent or something. You know, someone's gonna love that.
Sold.
Sold. That's it. Did a nice big deck. Maybe a pool. This is just the stuff I love. I don't see it all the time, but when I do, you know, I get a few a week maybe with a really good outdoor living experience.
Yep.
And I'm like,
You're like, I'm gonna buy the house.
yeah, right?
So my next question is about the condition of the houses, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you get a call from a realtor or a text or whatever,
Right.
and they'll say, hey Josh, go over to 100 Main Street, you know, and do these listing photos.
Okay.
So, the family's still living there.
Of course.
So my question is, how do you prepare and nurture to make sure that when you go there,
Yeah.
your photos are ready to be taken, there's not shit on the floor and
Right.
clothes on the bed? Like, how do you prep for photos?
So
Or is that the realtor's job?
there's a couple scenarios. I could move small things. I don't mind. You know, you have a small chair or little coffee table that you want to move out of the shot. Maybe you got a bunch of stuff on it. It doesn't look good. I'll move it out of the frame, take the shot, no problem. But I'm not going to like move a bed.
Right.
Like stuff like that. Like, I'm sorry. Like, make your bed. Like, I think that's something I need to get into and something that I need to really work on. And not saying that all my clients are like this, and I haven't had one in a while. But make sure that everybody knows like the prep checklist.
But
You know, like-
who does that? Do you send that to the client?
I should probably send them to the client. And I'm not saying I have had issues
So
with any.
now you're just showing up and hoping that it's in good
Hoping that it's in good shape. I mean, I can
Okay.
move a couple things, no big deal. But I'm not going to clean the house. I'm not a housekeeper.
So
And I'm
you're-
just being straight out honest.
You're hoping and relying on the fact that the realtor told their clients, hey, the photographer's coming on
Right.
Wednesday.
Just
make
tidy it up a little, declutter.
So you're really banking on just the goodwill of the client.
Right. And I mean, you know, little clutter, not terrible. I can deal. You know, you're living in it. Maybe the reason you're selling it is because it's too small.
Mm.
So you're going for something bigger, so you have a lot of stuff all over the house. But like, you know, I understand, you know, like a toddler, they might have a lot of toys.
For sure.
Toys, if they're messy, if they're all over the room, no bueno with me. But if they're kind of consolidated, like it's almost kind of like in one spot, but it's
Yep.
kind of like staged in a way where it's like, oh, here's the toddler's play area.
Yep.
That looks good. Like it doesn't look great, but it doesn't look bad. Like it sets the purpose. You know, kitchens are a whole other thing. You know, I don't like it when there's like a lot of stuff on the countertops because
Yeah.
you want to really show off how much
Space.
space there is. But you know, like if you have like a toaster oven, no problem. If you have like a couple little, I don't know, maybe like you have a pot and pan on the stovetop, you know, kind of sets the mood, sets the
Yep.
tone. If they can't move it, no big deal. But like I don't want like food on the kitchen countertops and things like that. Maybe bread, no big deal.
Yeah,
If it looks nice, if it's in one of those things that
yeah, the
the
old school
bread
bread
things.
box.
Somebody had that in the house the other day.
Those are cool.
Yeah, they're neat. They're like accordion
Yeah.
or something. They flop in and down, pop up and down. So those are cool. But you know, I really rely, hoping that like the beds are made.
Mm.
Um,
Have you ever showed up to a listing and said, I can't do this. I'll come back.
maybe in the back of my mind I said that, but I still did it.
Really?
It is what it is. You know,
So you make do.
with the client, it's all up to the client. You know, like if I'm with the client and they see what they're seeing, and maybe it's a mess, and they're okay with that, like they understand that they're not gonna, maybe they're not gonna get better. Maybe their client is being difficult to work with. They're not getting, you know,
Right.
what they want. Maybe the bed's not being made. Maybe they're just, maybe their client works X amount of hours a week and doesn't have time to maintain the house. So you know, you get what you get. But I mean, I really just hope that my clients are prepared,
Yeah.
and hope that they know, like, you know, like I'm coming in your house. I don't know you, but it kind of sets an impression
Yeah.
on me. It's like, okay, like those people are messy.
Right.
But like I hope that people are gonna, you know, realize like, yeah, like these pictures are going online. So you want to really just get the best look.
Right.
So I mean, even if it's like a tad bit messy, no problem. But like as long as the beds are made, and you know, clutter is consolidated, or maybe just if you have like a laundry basket, hide it behind the bed.
Mm.
No problem. I shoot it.
Yeah.
No biggie. Hide it behind the bed. You know, you shoot it so that the bed covers it up. It's not a big issue. So just different little things. You know, bathrooms are pretty easy to an extent. There's a lot of stuff on like the bathroom countertop that's not. I'm not a big fan of it. But like if they could take off like some like maybe the hair products and like
Yeah.
the shampoo and stuff. If you're gonna like leave maybe like the toothbrush and toothpaste, like, no
So-
problem. So
Yeah.
that's not a big deal.
So what's one of the weirdest things that you've encountered on the job? Or creepy or like awkward or something that just
I had one today.
today.
This wasn't like weird or like creepy, but it was unusual. There was 2 doors to get into one bedroom, and they were both on the same side of the hall. So it wasn't like you're going. It was just odd. It
So
wasn't
wait,
like
2
bad.
doors to the same room?
2 doors to the same room. So like, say you're walking down the hall, you pass the bathroom door,
Yep.
open up. Then say you got the bedroom coming up on the left. You got one door. Then you walk like 2 feet down, and you got the other door, and it's the same. It's the same side going
Same
into the
wall?
same bedroom. It's not creepy or anything. Don't
Yeah,
get me
but
wrong.
it's-
It's just unusual.
Have you seen a lot of that? Like the weird Rhode Island, like we've been in so many rentals and there's so many like, wow, that guy did that. you know, you built it that way, or this is over here. Like the houses
There's some
are
things
so
where they're just
quirky.
not. There's some things where like you'll work on a flip, and you can tell when some people didn't like put all the effort that they could into the flip. It could be a lot better. So those things kind of do make me mad because I do see that there's more potential in it, but they just didn't.
Right.
They just maybe ran out of time or ran out of budget or whatever. So, yeah, and it also comes down to getting the right people to do the job, to do a
Sure.
nice job for sure. So if you get somebody that's not a professional, you can tell when it's not professionally done. I had one of those a little while ago, and it wasn't terrible, but it also, you see it, and you're like, man, I wish like the painting on the walls were nice and touched up, or just a little better. Like it could have, I saw the potential in it. I don't know if I've seen anything that's like scary.
Any ghosts?
No, not yet. I hope
It's coming.
I hope not for a while. I haven't seen any like dungeons or any. You get creepy attics and whatnot, bad crawl spaces. Sometimes I hit my head on different things.
Basements? Do you photo the basement?
Depends.
Like a heating system, or like
I'll shoot like the heating system if it's like
if there's like a
requested.
bonus room down there.
If there's like I love a finished basement. Finished basements are really cool. Sometimes people will do like a game room,
Yeah.
or like a movie room,
A
or like
man
an
cave.
office.
That was a ghost.
Yeah, the ghost is haunting us.
Oh. That somebody wants to book an appointment.
Yeah, I guess so. Hello, Joshua Choppy with Choppy Media.
Is that what you go by, Choppy Media?
Yes, sir. That's the business name.
Oh yeah, I saw that on Facebook.
Yes, sir. Yep. So that's my brand. People are like, why Choppy Media? Like, you don't want your media to be choppy. And then I'm like, then I feel like I go to them and I go,
Non-choppy
and I'm
media.
like, what do you want me to change my last name? Like, I'm sorry, my name's Choppy. Like,
That's
I gotta have my
funny,
brand.
actually.
It's
I
like,
didn't
what do
think
you
of
want me
that.
to change my last name? Like, I'm providing non-choppy media. Like, my media is smooth. It's not choppy. You don't, like in a video format, you would know this. You don't want choppy video. You could tell when a video is like, it's like not the right frame rate and people aren't moving smoothly on camera. I don't want that. So it's just my name is Choppy Media.
And how do you
Like,
spell it?
Chopy.
So there's no extra P.
Yes, sir. No
So
extra P.
If you had the two P's, then it would be choppy.
Yeah, but we just call it Choppy
One P.
Media. Oh well.
So what's the least favorite part of your job?
I wouldn't say. All right, let's see. So
Or
this
what's
is like
something that comes
it's like a
across
stressful part
and
of
you're
my
like,
job.
"Ah."
You want to hear a stressful part? It's scheduling. Scheduling's stressful. I love it, but when everybody wants the same day,
True.
it just gets really tricky. So I get I don't want to turn anybody away. So that's a stressful part of the job. I guess another one of my least favorite parts of my job is driving. When you drive so much, you kind of get annoyed with the different areas you go into and all the road work that goes on. So that's another one of the frustration. It's just frustrating parts because road work is not something that I factor in to my travel time.
So how far do you go?
I go pretty much anywhere, for the most part. I mean, I've gone kind of deep into Mass, kind of deep into Connecticut, but I try not to go there too often. But I guess you could say I cover Rhode Island, Mass, and Connecticut. You know, like the bordering states. But not like all of Mass. Like, I'm not going to go 3 hours into Mass.
Right.
Unless I have somebody out there. Unless I, get somebody to work on that stuff. But nothing for now. Nothing at this time that I'm going to go 3 hours. Because that's a 6-hour travel time for me to get back home.
Right. And
Unless
what
I'm
are
going
you
to get a
gonna make?
hotel or something.
Right.
Unless somebody hands me like a $10 million mansion 3 hours away, like you bet I'm running.
So you'll go to Newport.
Heck yeah, I will.
You'll go to the Cape, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, if someone has
Right out
if someone
there.
has good work for me out there,
Yep.
it's a good job. I'm gonna get a good, it's a good foot into that market.
Yeah.
A good foot in the door. Why not? I'll go to the
Sure.
Cape. Someone give me a nice big listing in the Cape. Maybe it's a mansion or something. Who knows? I could expand my market out there a little bit.
Sure.
So that could be fun. But I stick with Rhode Island and southeastern Mass for the most part. Occasionally I go into Boston.
Okay.
So I got one in Boston tomorrow.
Interesting.
So just a little bit of this and a little bit of that. They all kind of, I don't know, I don't really have a specific service area, but if I'm heavy in Rhode Island, then I just know I can't book anything in Mass.
Right.
It is what it is.
One thing that my good friend, and you know him too, Emilio Despirito,
Mm-hmm.
he has this calendar. If you want to book an appointment with him, like a phone call or in person, I
Right?
think it's called Calendly.
Mm-hmm.
Calendly, and you pull it up and it's got all of his availability.
Oh,
So maybe you want to
I
consider
got
like
it. Yeah.
some type of schedule where you send the customer or the client a link,
And just be
and-
like, okay, it's
and
up to
they
you.
book, they pay, and
That's it.
you just wake up and say, all right, I'm going to Boston and Providence.
Yeah. That's something I gotta consider for sure. Or not something I gotta consider, it's something I have been considering,
Well,
but
it
I've been
seems
moving
like
at a
you're
snail's
getting there.
pace. I'm definitely getting there. Cause, I mean, yeah, I wanna coordinate with everybody, but waiting to hear back on like information about a property, maybe the address or something like the day before, sometimes like it's really like frustrating, cause I've not confirmed it till I know where I'm going.
Hmm.
That's how I look at it. Like, yeah, I set aside the time for you, but like if I don't know where I'm going and I'm only gonna know like an hour before I get there, like that's not cool.
Especially
Like
if
I
there's
gotta
road
make
work.
sure, I gotta make sure that I know where I am and where. I
Where
want to
you
make sure I
should be
know where I'm
going.
going.
Right.
A couple days in advance at least. I'll set aside the time for my regular client if they come through and like, I got a listing for you. I'm not exactly sure when will be available, but it's in say Cumberland. I'll be like, okay, block off some time for you in Cumberland, no problem. I know you're gonna follow through with me.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the information when you can.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of block it all off. Try and block off as much time as I can for my people.
So you're shooting all day,
Pretty much.
and then you go home, and then you gotta sit down at the computer.
Yes, sir. Edit photos, videos, follow up.
What
with
time
email.
is your earliest appointment?
Earliest appointment? I try and start at 10.
Okay.
Yeah, that's I think my regular time.
And then when
Sometimes
do you
I
get
push
home?
it. Sometimes I get home at 2.
Oh,
2 at night. 2 a.m.
really?
Yeah. Oh, for my appointment?
Yeah.
Oh, for my appointments, I probably wrap up my appointments around 6.
Okay.
Then I like take dinner, and then I go to the office for 10 o'clock and edit till like 2 a.m.
Where's your office?
It's on Main Street in West Warwick.
What number?
It's oh god, 751 Main Street.
That sounds familiar.
It's Black Market Studios. We're like a collaborative group. I do my stuff. The person next to me does some stuff. The person behind me does some stuff.
Is that near AJ's restaurant?
Yes. I think it's a couple-minute ride from there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not far.
Good. So it's a collaborative. It's a co-op.
Pretty much.
So there's other businesses.
But we all kind of run our own businesses
Okay.
under one. It's just like the studio. So like if I'm done, someone else could come and take my spot.
Hmm.
No problem.
And I bet you there's nobody there at 2 a.m. So you
Actually,
can work.
believe it or not,
Really?
there are. There's another guy next to me. He works a ton. He works from 8 a.m. to like 2 a.m. every day.
What does he do?
Graphic design.
Hmm.
He does a lot of stuff in New York. Actually, not New York. I lied. Philadelphia. He works for a clothing company in Philadelphia, so he does a lot of T-shirt design for them, and he also does a lot of client work in Rhode Island and Mass, and just different people. Does a lot of merchandise design.
Interesting. So you grew up in Coventry. You're working in West Warwick.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite restaurant in Rhode Island?
Ooh. Oh God. It's a tough one. It's a lot of good places. I'm a very big chowder snob.
Aha.
Yeah.
Red, white, or Manhattan?
I'm a big white chowder
Me
guy.
too.
Yeah. And everywhere I go, they offer
Yep.
chowder. Gotta have the chowder.
Me too.
It's like, yeah, that's it. Like if I see chowder on the menu,
Take it.
done. Oh man, that's a tough question.
Well, how about this? Where's your favorite place to get chowder, and then where's your favorite restaurant for other?
Probably like my favorite place to get chowder would be like Cello's. You know,
Really?
it's kind of simple. Cello's is like a go-to. It's
For
a good
sure.
spot. I don't go there as often as I should, but when I do go, their chowder is pretty good. There's another place in Narragansett or South, whatever that area is called, South
Yeah.
County, Camden's. Believe it or not, you know the bowling alley.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Well, it's Camden's. It's like a little diner. You know, nothing fancy.
Mm-hmm.
But their chowder has a like nice. It's got dill in it, and the dill tastes
Dill
so
is
good.
money, right?
It's so good in the chowder, and you wouldn't anticipate it, but like man, it's got a good flavor to it. I'd say like a go-to like for everything else, probably like a Twin Oaks type of guy.
Yeah.
My family's really grounded in Twin Oaks.
Are you guys Italian?
No, sir. My family's just very close. Like my family lives close to Twin Oaks. Like when I go to my grandmother's.
Okay.
So when we have any gatherings, Twin Oaks
Go
is
there?
good. Yep, Twin Oaks is good. Spain of Narragansett is good.
Yep.
If I'm in Narragansett with my Narragansett grandparents. Stuff like that. Twin Oaks is great though. Twin Oaks never disappoints. Again, something I don't go often.
Yeah.
But when we gather up for a birthday party or something, heck yeah.
Doesn't it seem like you're busy, I'm busy? I never go and sit down and
Me
have
neither, no.
lunch or dinner
I'm
anywhere.
on a very big, I'm on like the pizza diet or like the fast food diet, which is really unhealthy.
But one
It's gonna
thing I
happen.
discovered is Whole Foods
Mm-hmm.
has sushi that is arguably as good as you go
If you
into-
just go set.
Correct. Because the ladies and the guys there, they make it
Mm-hmm.
early in the morning. So I'll go at like 10 o'clock before I come to work and get a fresh roll.
Right.
And you can tell because the avocado is bright green.
That's what we want.
The-
Something fresh.
It's nice bright orange. I love salmon.
Yeah.
So I've been doing that because other than that, what's really
You're running
healthy?
around too.
What's really healthy that you could grab?
Not much.
I mean, you could say Chipotle, you got rice, beans, and
I love
vegetables.
Chipotle. Chipotle is great.
But my dad says, oh, that comes in a bucket from China. It's not real food.
Right.
And I'm like,
Sorry.
it tastes good.
Sorry, Dad. Tastes good.
Shout out to my dad. But it's tough to eat healthy.
It is. You're right. I'm more of a flavor and convenience.
For sure.
But I feel like I also, like, if I don't eat healthy, like, I feel like it kind of works out for me because I'm running around all day. So it's not like I'm, like, putting it on because I'm running around.
True. Especially days like today, you're sweating up a storm.
Yeah, it's hot.
Especially in
It's
these
hot
houses
outside.
and these attics and
Oh,
basements.
yeah. Attics, basements. Sometimes the house doesn't have air conditioning if it's vacant. Those are fun.
So do you prefer a vacant house over an occupied house, or?
I'd say a little bit of both. If it's occupied, I love it. If it was, like, immaculate, that's my go-to, end-all, be-all goal. You know who's really good at this? The Spirit Out team is really good at making sure that their houses are, like, on point.
Perfect.
Whether they have, like, a stager come in.
Yep.
And usually the stager is for a vacant home. But for, you know, any, like, their clients, if they're living there, like, their clients know, you know, how to make sure that the house sells, like how to make sure the house is ready for pick. So those are good. So I love it when a client knows what to do to make sure the house is good to take
Yep.
pictures of. But for a vacant home, there's two kinds I like. There's the kinds that are staged up by a nice interior designer, because those are just fun all around. You know, you get to get some nice
Yeah.
angles, incorporating the furniture. It just kind of sets the tone, sets the mood. And then just vacant, empty ones, you know, you're kind of in and out in 10 minutes. Snap, 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 snap. Kitchen, nobody's there. Maybe sometimes someone's there, but my clients know not to get in my way. And if
Yeah.
they do, they're respectful about it. They're like, oh, sorry, I didn't know you were snapping the picture here. But usually, like, I'm in and out in, like, 20 minutes for, like, a quick vacant home. Obviously, it depends on how big it is.
Right.
But the ones that I've done, my vacant houses aren't that large. So those are fun. It's like, I don't know, I don't think I have one that I like better than the other, but it's always good when nobody is home too, because it's just easier to work.
Oh yeah. So what about like a multifamily? Have you done a multifamily yet?
Yes, I've
And
done.
those got to be a pain in the ass, right? Because you tell, like, trust me, I deal with tenants every
Oh
day.
yeah, it's not
you
easy.
cannot tell them like virtually like that they have to do anything
Right.
without
It's
some type of like
right.
resistance.
It's always something. It's always something that's an argument.
Correct.
It just those are the ones that are tough.
So
Like
what
you
do
could
you
even
do?
be the best. You could be the best realtor in the state, and if you could have the best clients on everything else, but if you have the multi, like the multi is always going to be like the one that's like, so you're just going to really like go in there and just try and do your best. That's all. Make sure it's bright. Make sure you really really show off what the potential is, because you're not looking for somebody to live there. You're more targeting the investor client. So if the investor sees what is available
Yeah.
to them and they see, oh, you know, like it's solid, the bones are good,
Yes.
the structure is good, you know, work on the other things as we go.
Yep.
But as long as they can see it with their eyes, then as long as they could see the potential there and they could see the income, then that's what you go for. But you can't really get clean. Multis are tough.
And the problem I have with a lot of the realtor photos, for those of you that are listening at home, is they make them look too good.
Right.
And then, I'm an investor,
just
I
shoot
go
it
to a
as is,
multi-property and I'm like, wow, this thing looks great, 249.9, let's go check it out. And then you get there and you're like,
This thing's falling apart.
holy shit, this thing is a dump.
Yeah.
But the photos were so good that, that's a point I want to make in this conversation is you can be the best photographer, but don't embellish.
Oh, of course. Like, there's something that I will never do. And people ask me if, can you, fix that crack in the wall?
Right.
No thanks.
Then you start
Sorry.
lying.
We're going to get in, Rhode Island real estate, whatever, the association's going to come after us and be like, that crack in the wall was there. That crack was a structural crack or something.
Right.
Like an issue. So that I wouldn't do. But on the other side of that, if a contractor is going to come in and fix that crack in the wall by the time they're showing the house,
Sure.
by all means, no problem, have at it. Or if, for example, another thing, say the paint's peeling off the front of the house. Client's like, the house is going to be painted. Say I shot the house on Thursday, the house is going to be painted Friday. They're going to list it on Saturday or something like that. House is going to be painted on Saturday. Is there a chance that you can paint this house? Say it's blue. Okay. As long as it's done by the time you're showing it, I don't want you to get in trouble. But if it's going to be done, like you say it is, then of course.
So you can change the color of the house?
Yeah. Just different retouching. You can remove things. All sorts of different knickknacks that are inside the photography services. Different add-ons here and there.
So if you take a photo of something and say I don't know, you see you're in the living room, you take a photo, you go home, you go back to West Warwick to your office, and you're like, oh, shoot, there's a loaded gun on the table.
Yep.
I can erase the gun.
Yep, just make it not there.
Wow.
Yeah.
So has that happened a lot where you're you miss things but then you clean it up later?
Not necessarily. No, nothing that I would have missed personally. But stuff that clients, if say there's a big couch, and say the couch is ripped up, they can't move it. So just get rid of the couch.
Wow.
Poof. Like a magic trick.
And then how do you know what to fill in behind it, or how do you add
what could be there?
Yeah.
It's a Photoshop methods. It's a little bit complicated, but they have some good tools like Content Aware Fill, which basically lets you select a specific part of a room, and then it fills it in with the best, and then you can kind of go in there and kind of fine tune it so that it all kind of blend. You can kind of fill in the flooring and just different aspects of the picture to kind of fill in what can be there. What actually, fill it in empty so that the room it looks empty when it really isn't. So there's different tools that you could use in the Adobe suite. It's really fine tuning. You're really gonna get detailed, get up close with it, really start painting in different parts of the picture.
Is that what you use, Adobe Suite?
Yep, the Adobe suite. I love the Adobe suite. I use Adobe Photoshop. There's another one, Adobe Lightroom. Those are all the photo editing aspects. And then for video purposes, I use Adobe Premiere Pro.
Interesting. What kind of computer do you got?
Just a PC laptop. I'm probably going to upgrade eventually. But for now, it's doing what it needs to do for a little bit. So I'm not complaining.
So you use a laptop. You don't like to have the big screen with the mouse?
Well, I have the laptop hooked up to the big screen.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and it's I had it upgraded, so that's great. But, I definitely need to upgrade eventually to a better Mac, like a Mac or a PC. Something custom built for me that'll really handle the power.
Sure.
That the power will provide me with the services that I'm pumping out. Make sure that I can move quicker.
Yes.
That's the goal.
When you leave, I'll show you the office. Nick Dagnillo, our CEO, say hello to Nick. He has this computer, it's 48 inches. it's one screen,
Oh god.
but it's like convex.
It's like a big curved screen.
Curved screen. It's like you would think he's landing shuttles on the moon. Like
NASA.
you look at his computer.
He's probably got all the cameras rolling and whatnot.
He's got the cameras to the building,
Yeah.
which like he'll like be watching it and like send me a picture, and it's like, dude, get a life, stop watching the cameras. But he's got so much room that he's probably like, all right, I got 2 screens here, I got the cameras here, maybe I got a YouTube video going here. Like maybe you want to consider something like that.
Yeah, just nice. It's a good workflow.
Yeah.
Because you could be doing like you're editing on one thing, but you could be listening to like a podcast or music in the background on another side,
Sure.
and just kind of multitask and have a bunch of different things running at once. So like I could have like my like Lightroom in one window, and then say like I'm listening to a podcast in another,
Right.
and so it just kind of makes the best use of my time.
Which is very important.
You know, like learn while you're working, so I can provide more value for myself and just learn different things.
And that's the goal of these interviews for those of you watching at home now is you could take this is an hour and a half, me and you shooting the breeze, throw this on in the car ride.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of listening to commercials and the same song that you heard 20,000
Yeah,
times already, you can maybe pick something out, pull something out.
Of course.
And I think that's the new wave of media that's going to be popular. Like if you look at a Joe Rogan, he'll do 3-4 hours.
Of course. And he
And he
does some interesting stuff. He
great
goes
content.
Goes in.
But if you go on like one time we went on Channel 12, the morning show.
Yep, yep.
They gave us 120 seconds, or maybe it was 90 seconds. To like, how am I
How are
going
you
to
gonna, how you
get?
gonna tell your story?
How are you going to get? And it was me and Lindsay from Fall River, and the woman, her name was Michaela. I think she still is the morning show host there.
Mhm.
And she said, "Oh, tell us about Nexus Property Management." Blah blah blah.
It's like a little commercial.
That's 40 seconds, and then what do you do? Another 40 seconds.
It's
All
gone
right.
before
And
you
if
know
you're
it.
interested, check out Nexus, and it's like, I remember
Right.
feeling so just gypped. I felt like, you know what?
Because you just feel bad that you didn't get to tell your story the way it
And
should
that was
be told.
$1,000, Josh,
Really?
to show up, and we got no calls from that.
That's annoying.
I thought it was the biggest scam going.
That's
So I said, if I'm
frustrating.
ever in charge or in front of a camera, you better believe that my guest is going to get the opportunity to take as much time or as little time as they want,
Mm-hmm.
and not be like, all right, and now we're going to commercial. Thanks, bye. It's like
Yeah, because you're just rushing them out.
waste,
Right. I don't blame you. Because you want to tell the story the right way.
100%. So my next question for you, I was thinking about it before. What would you say the best advice that you've ever gotten in your entire life was?
Oh, so there's actually a couple. One, teamwork makes the dream work. And I know it sounds very cliche and blah, 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 blah. But, like, I noticed that, like, yeah, like, I'm only one part of, like, the real estate transaction. But, like, it's so great to see. Like, I want to see my client succeed. If their listing succeeds with my images, like, I'm just happy to be part of that process. And I know there's a variety of other people that they have to go through in order to make it to the closing table.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad to be part of that team. And I'm glad to be kind of part of the team.
Yeah.
Being like, okay, like Josh is part of the team. Like, he's our go-to guy for pictures or whatever. It's great to see that.
Mm-hmm.
Another one is do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life.
True that.
I've heard that from a variety of folks. One of my high school principals said that, like, if you're doing something that you enjoy, then you're not it's not working. And so I have a great time. Yeah, I put in a lot of hours,
Mm-hmm.
but man, people are like, oh, you're gonna get burnt out. Oh, you're gonna get tired. I'm not tired. I'm having fun.
Mm.
That's my number one.
difference.
That's a difference, exactly. I'm having a fun time doing what I do. Yeah, I put a lot of effort and a lot of hours into it, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
And what would you have said 2 years ago, right? If you looked, if it was 2018 and you're like, all right, this is what I'm going to be doing in 2020. Would you have said this?
When I first established this, I set out to say, okay, my goal is to do 150 listings in 2020. as of August 1st, I did 193. So like looking at it now, I'm like, man, I didn't really know what I was doing in November 2019. I look at my first few real estate houses I did, and I'm like, I thought these are like gold. Like,
How did you get your first listing?
My first listing, I liked a page on Facebook from somebody that was like selling houses in my area, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna like this page. Maybe they'll see that I do photos, and that'd be good. That'd be a good opportunity. But maybe they do, maybe they don't. No big deal. I'm still gonna like it because I'm working on getting my real estate people up. They reached out to me. Hey Josh, do you do photos? Because I have a picture. My profile picture is me holding a camera, so they already knew.
Oh.
Hey Josh, do you do like pictures, like real estate pictures? I'm like, heck yeah, I will. So I did it, and I mean,
where was the house?
it was Coventry, and they had a whole lot, like a whole, not a lot, like a whole community, kinda, that they were working on selling.
Yeah.
So as they sold, like what they work with the builder, they work with me. I shoot the house, send them the pictures, go on and on and on. We did like 5 of them in that spot. We were waiting on one more to be done. So we started that project. I started that project in November. They were working on it for months prior, but yeah, like it was like I thought those pictures were fantastic. And I mean, I still think they're good. Don't get me wrong. Like for what I did, for the timing that I did it in, but my editing has changed. The way that I take a picture has changed. I changed up the lens that I use. Just different techniques have improved my skill set. But man, like going back to your original question, if you told me in 2018 that I wouldn't be in school right now and I'd be working full time running my own business, I would probably laugh. I'd be like, ha ha ha, that's funny.
And that's the power of real estate.
It's fun, man.
That's the power of Rhode Island too.
It's a lot of fun, a lot of great people, a lot of different places I get to explore otherwise. Like there's places like I don't typically go because I mean they're too far.
Right.
Like if I'm visiting them leisurely.
Right.
But you know, if I have to do it for a job, like heck yeah, I'll go to Tiverton, Bristol.
Pay me, I'll go anywhere.
Heck yeah, right. That's it. It's a lot of fun. I get to explore. I probably scaled the state back and forth. Like I don't know. I've been in like Chopy, and then I've been to like Bristol, and then I've been to like Narragansett and Providence, and like all these, like that's one end of a state to another end of a state, like just bouncing around.
Yeah, and isn't it weird how each city and town in Rhode Island is so different?
Oh man.
From like the next one, and you can be in like
Yeah.
East Providence, and you're like, all right, I'm in Riverside. It's
It's
kind of
nice.
old.
It's very chill.
It's chill. It's dense, and then you'd be like, now I'm in Barrington.
In Barrington, it's like a village kind of deal.
But
it's
it's
very
like
suburban.
they touch each other.
Yeah,
But they're
it's
so different.
vibes.
So what's your favorite place or city or town, and why? And then what's your least favorite city or town, and why?
Oh man, I'd say my favorite probably gotta be like Oceanside. So like Narragansett, one of my faves. I don't get enough of Narragansett. Narragansett is great though. My goal is to shoot a house on the water, like right on the water. That's a goal.
That's coming.
That should be fun. Narragansett is a fan favorite. Newport's a fan favorite. I haven't shot a house in Newport yet.
Really?
No, I would love to. Or Jamestown.
We got to change that.
Something like that would be fun. And then probably like least favorite, I don't know. Probably somewhere I go a lot. Just like a place I go often. Maybe like not like Central Falls, but like maybe like Pawtucket or something like that. Like it's somewhere I go often. Cause I get a lot of multifamilies in Pawtucket, so those are just a hassle.
They're a pain in the neck, see?
But I don't mind doing them.
Being honest, yeah.
I don't mind doing them. Don't get it twisted, people watching at home.
Right.
I don't mind doing them, but it just, like realtors know it too.
Yep.
They're not easy to deal with.
They're
so
tough.
just being honest.
For sure. and you're trying to do one singular thing. Right? You're trying to go in and take photos and get it ready to sell. And the realtor's doing another singular thing. Now imagine every day.
Yeah, every day.
Everything.
He's
every
deal
payment,
with that.
every eviction, every maintenance request, every complaint, every property owner's concern, like all of these things.
Right? Just an added list of just putting
and
out
all
fires.
we have for the most part is multis.
Right.
We do have some single families that we manage, but we don't get many calls because those manage themselves.
Yeah.
So we get the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
But
It gets a little bit difficult.
We love
No
it,
doubt.
for sure.
They're good, It's another experience, another place to go, and I wouldn't turn them down at all. They're good, but I mean, I get multi, like my number, like I don't think I've shot a single family in Pawtucket.
Really?
So it gets
There are many.
Oh, I'm sure there are.
There
So
are
it gets
many.
a little frustrating when I just do multi-families in Pawtucket nonstop. So if somebody brings me a single family in Pawtucket, I wouldn't be mad.
Or oceanfront in Jamestown.
It'll change.
Either
It'll
one.
change my my perspective of Pawtucket.
How about any mills or loft style? Have you done any photos of those?
I have not, but I would love to do something like that.
Like the old brick mill
Oh,
building?
those are sweet. There's one there in Coventry.
Yeah.
So nice. Not Harris Mill, something Mill. I think they're all like owned by the same company. They
Yeah,
all kind of
Brady
run them.
Sullivan or something.
Something like that, and they all kind of have the same vibe, but like
Yeah.
a little bit different. Those are nice in there.
There's one in West Warwick too.
Harris Mill. It's right on
Kings Mill or something.
something like that. It's right actually near my office. I drive by it
Yeah.
if I'm going past my office.
It's pretty neat how these buildings
They
were so
reconstruct
big
them.
and like they stood the test of time.
Oh yeah.
Like they're 150 years old. Like,
And then they reconstruct them and
Rebuild
give
them.
them like they use the same structure, but it's like vintage with a modern flair, I guess you would say.
you're probably going to end up getting those listings eventually. I mean, if you hang around long enough, you're going to get all types. But
Oh yeah.
those are my favorite. Like I'll see a nice loft building in Providence or
Those
even
are fun.
in Socket, Pawtucket, and it's just like, how cool is
I'm
that?
sure. I'm sure of it.
How cool is that to live there? You can rent them.
Oh
But
yeah.
I feel like owning your own loft,
It's a cool thing.
that's cool stuff.
Get big windows.
Roof deck.
Oh, the roof deck. Those are good too. Gym.
Where do you plan on living, or
Oh,
where do you
boy.
want to live in the future? Like say 10 years from down the road, where do you hope to be? Do you hope to be in Rhode Island? Do you hope to be in Mass? Do you hope to be in Florida?
I would probably want to be in like, Rhode Island maybe. I'm not sure what town. Maybe stay local. Either that or my next one would probably be like Boston.
Mm,
But I don't like Boston driving.
for sure.
But I don't know. Boston's cool.
What do you like about Boston the most?
Tall buildings. There's a lot of stuff going on all the time. I love the Brazilian Steakhouse in Boston, and I love the Prudential Center. Those are great. I don't get to spend enough time in Boston, so I'd love to get to spend more time there. And there's a lot of good little like exhibits and
Mhm.
things. So those are cool, and it's just a cool location. The real estate's good in Boston.
For sure.
Real estate's cool in Boston.
Would you ever want to have multiple Choppy Media offices?
Possibly, but maybe not multiple offices. Maybe we'll start with just multiple people. Maybe I'll just start with somebody in Boston that
Yeah.
could handle the Boston clients, so
Yep.
I could kind of expand, kind of like you guys do here.
Mhm.
You just kind of expand with the same quality of service and all
Yep.
that good stuff. Just maintaining it all, but covering grounds, because like I can't drive to Boston every day.
Right.
Because I have to cover the people in Rhode Island.
For sure.
So if I can have somebody as an outpost in Boston, that'd be pretty cool.
I think so.
And it wouldn't be bad. Like, that wouldn't be, like, a hard thing to implement. As long as they understand what's expected, like we were talking about earlier.
For sure.
Just kind of expand my horizons, expand the grounds.
And that's our goal too. Like we're in Worcester, we're in
Mhm.
Fall River, we're going to Springfield, we're going to Hartford, New Haven.
Yep.
All of these metro cities have what we do.
Right.
And wherever you go,
They have what we do. They have real estate people.
you really
Realtors
can't
are
go
gonna-
wrong.
And I don't need to get licensed in Massachusetts to
Right.
shoot in Mass.
Do you in Rhode Island?
No. I'm just saying, like, I don't,
Oh,
there's no
okay.
barrier to me
Oh
going.
yeah.
I don't need any specific credentials to be like, okay, I want to shoot in Boston.
Right.
I could just shoot in Boston. That's the flexibility of being in a creative field. You don't need much
Yeah.
criteria.
And you've always been remote.
Right. It's good to be in such a central location now that I could easily get here, there, and everywhere. No problem.
Hmm.
You know, Coventry, 20 minutes from Providence, I think you'd say, 20-25
Sure.
with traffic. About 30 minutes from Narragansett, 30 minutes from Newport, 35 minutes from Jamestown.
It's
It's a perfect
half
spot.
hour to everywhere.
It's a good central spot for me to, go close to Coventry, like East Greenwich, West Greenwich, or out there. Why not?
Or Connecticut.
Heck yeah. Connecticut's not far from Coventry. I'm like a 20-minute ride from Mystic. Maybe 20 minutes, a little bit.
I'm actually looking at a house today in Coventry on Lake of Isle Road.
Oh.
You might even know the
Is
listing.
that on Johnson's Pond?
I think so.
Because I know Isle of Capri.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what you meant? Isle of Capri?
What did I say?
Lake of Isle Road.
Lake of Isles.
No, Isle of Capri. I think I know my dad's friend lives over there. In some area over there. There's people that live there that I'm familiar with. The area is great. Johnson's Pond.
It's beautiful.
Are you gonna go there for yourself
Yeah.
or for an investment?
Self.
Yeah, it's a good spot. Get the jet ski out. Who knows? Get some toys.
Nothing like, I mean,
Nothing
a
like
couple toys.
nothing like being on Johnson's Pond,
Toys are for the boys.
going on the jet ski or paddleboarding or kayaking. Like, if you're going on the water,
Yeah.
why not?
And you
I would.
feel like, I don't know, like I'll go on the bike path, right?
Yeah.
And there's this campground, I think it's called Ayoho.
Is it in Coventry?
Yeah.
Huh.
It's on the greenway, so you're going on the bike path, and it's on the left if you're coming from like the Warwick area.
Yeah.
And it's just like this beautiful lake with all these little mini style boats, nothing crazy.
Right.
And campers.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, you think you're in like the backwoods in New Hampshire, but you're just 2 minutes from West Warwick.
Yeah, it's good to be remote but close at the same time.
That's what Rhode Island does.
Yeah, you get a little bit of this. You get everything in Rhode Island.
You really do.
I would say you get a little bit of each type of living experience in Rhode Island.
City living, suburban living, country living,
Right.
farm living,
Yep.
lake living,
Why not?
ocean living.
Yep.
I mean,
Tourist
yeah.
capital with
Tourism.
Newport and Narragansett, which is really strange though. Now that I bring that up, I don't think there's not many or if any hotels in Narragansett. They're all rentals.
I don't know anything about that.
My family has observed that. Like there's no big resort company that's like, okay, explore the resorts at Narragansett.
What about the ocean house?
I think that's the resort, but it's not. There's nothing like big with like, okay, like we got like a Wyndham Resorts with like
Got
a pool
it.
or any of that. There's nothing where it's like you could book Narragansett if you have like a timeshare,
Got it.
which is strange.
So maybe they've done it that way to preserve the
Maybe there's like
the
a
community.
regulation on that
Yeah.
in Narragansett.
Because I remember going to Newport as a
Newport
kid.
has good
We got
hotels.
pools
Plenty
and
of hotels in
and-
Newport.
Yeah.
Plenty of hotels, rentals, the whole thing in Newport. But it's strange. Narragansett doesn't have that. Narragansett has a ton of rentals. You know that.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that have little houses there,
Little cottages and
and
stuff.
they rent them for crazy money.
They sure do. I've looked at some of the rentals for the week, Narragansett,
Like
just because I'm
4
impressed.
grand, 5 grand.
Just for like a few hundred not few hundred, maybe like 1,000 or so square feet.
It's crazy.
A few $1,000 a week. It's a good way to capitalize on your real estate.
Sure. We've stayed away from vacation rentals.
Mm.
I remember when we first offered them,
Mm-hmm.
it was just a pain in the neck.
Yeah.
Do you photograph vacation rentals, or do you get involved with any of that, or is it just
I
the
wouldn't
sales?
mind. I wouldn't mind.
Okay.
I mean, whatever people need. If somebody needs me for like Airbnb, no problem. If somebody needs me for rental, no problem. Just real estate.
Anything.
Anything.
Did you ever do rental photos?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I've done a couple rentals. I did a rental the other day.
Interesting.
Smithfield. Just different things. All sorts of stuff.
And it's like every day's new.
That's it. All sorts of stuff. You know, I something I want to get into some more of is commercial property.
Uh-huh.
Like I'd love to like see how I can capture like maybe a warehouse or an office environment or a store. But you know, obviously it has to be for sale. But if it's not for sale, another option would be for like if a restaurant wants to bring more people in to shoot their facility, to just show
Right.
off how nice inside it is,
Right.
which is a different aspect. It's not to sell the house. It's just not to sell the building. It's to sell the business, like
The experience.
the experience of the business.
Hmm.
That's another aspect of this type of a skill set.
Right. You could anywhere that people go.
Right.
Or not go.
Exactly. There's, like hotels, you've seen them online. They have the nice pictures of like what you're getting. That's another thing I could shoot.
True.
It's not to sell the hotel, it's to sell the business, the experience of the hotel. So there's just different things that I haven't yet dove into.
Right. No
But
time.
eventually I'd love to. If somebody brings me an opportunity, give it to me. Let's go.
Who would you say has given you the biggest opportunity of your career thus far? Like, who would you say has given you the biggest push or jumpstart or solid,
Grounds?
Yeah. Like, there's got to be one person, like to me, it's my boss, Nick.
Right.
Nick has given me the ropes, the skill set, the opportunity to do anything. Has there been somebody influential in your life like that in a business sense?
Oh, of course. There's a couple people. There's a couple people that I know that I could definitely trust, count on, and they want to see me succeed, and it's fantastic.
Who is that person?
So, first is your buddy. Emilio has given me countless listings. He's
Emilio.
Great. He's great.
Coming in first
He's
place.
great. He's great, He took a chance on me. I met him in January for the first time.
Wow.
I had really nothing to show. But he gave me a chance to shoot for him, which is great. And he does a great job and high volume, and it's good business for me.
Yeah.
So that's good. And then his broker, Dean. Dean is awesome.
Love Dean.
Dean is great.
Dean has spoken.
I'm glad Dean wants to see me succeed. It's good to connect with him. Building up my connections with Dean is awesome. He has me do little projects here and there of just different things that he wants me to do. So that's a lot of fun. Working with him's great. He's got a great team of people at his office.
Sure. If you could give a message to Dean, what would it be?
Dean, thank you so much for, working with, a little kid like me. I'm just a kid. I'm not a kid, but I'm a kid.
Yeah, you're young.
And, I'm young and I'm hungry, so I appreciate you giving me a chance, It's cool, giving me a shot to do some work for you and, do some good stuff for you. It's fun, I know you're busy, but, to work with, like, the younger guy, it's a lot of fun. So, thanks. Really appreciate it. That same thing goes for, like, Emilio, too. Like, I didn't have much of a body of work when I met either of them. So, like, to have both of them, like, to be like, oh, we're going to take a chance on this kid. Like,
it's priceless.
Yeah, it's big because they do a lot. Like, they do big things. So to be kind of included with that it's really fun. It's really cool to ride the wave with them.
Yeah. And there are going to be more people part of that wave for you.
Oh, yeah. There's probably more but those are the two that really came to mind. I know they both do a great job. They do great business. And so to be kind of with that, to be in their company, to be one of the people that they rely on, it's big.
It's big time.
It's big.
And you can't let them down.
I can't let them down. I won't let them down.
Absolutely.
That's the goal, right?
100%. Especially in Rhode Island, like we talked about before. If you do something bad in Rhode Island, even if you sell like a bad cheeseburger at a restaurant, somebody's gonna hear about it.
Don't go to that restaurant.
It's terrible, and it's the same, sadly, for a lot of businesses too.
Right.
Like,
maybe just one bad experience ruins it for everything.
People will say, like, if they got bad photos from you, they would tell 10 people.
Oh, of course.
But if you did a good, normal job,
they'll tell 10 people. Josh is the man.
They'll tell maybe 2 people.
2 people.
That's how humans are.
I wish it was 10 people. That'd be nice.
It'd be nice.
You know the same thing.
But it's just like that's how humans are structured. Is they want to share the bad news.
Right.
So you can't give them bad news.
Fair enough. Yeah.
So
true that.
I appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. It was good. We know what's next.
What's coming up next, and what you've been waiting for, is the nomination of our next guest. So before you tell us who it is, I want you to tell us why you selected them and what they bring to the table.
Oh, man. This is good. All right. So, my next guest...
Drum roll, please.
It's another realtor.
Okay.
Is the reason I selected him is because I started up with him a little bit after he got rolling. He's only been rolling since early last year, but he's been hustling it out. He's throwing deals under contract left and right like no other. He's going for high volume. It's Michael Harrison with Williams and Stewart. I'm not sure if you're
Okay.
familiar with him,
I
but
don't
he's a
know.
hustler. He's
Okay.
young, and he's killing it.
Michael Harrison
Michael Harrison.
of Williams and Stewart.
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Williams and Stewart Real Estate. Michael Harrison. He's this month in July. He put like 4 or 5, I think, under contract by himself. Just kind of riding the wave, taking every
Awesome.
chance he can get. He blew me up with listings. He threw me like 3 this month. So he's a
Sweet.
good guy. He's a hustler.
And where's he from? Is he from Rhode Island?
Yes, I think he lives in Cranston.
Cool.
So he's not far.
And how did you guys meet?
How did I meet? I met from a friend of his. Actually, one of the people that I might be having work with me. But he said, like, his buddy Michael Harrison needed pictures. And so he was actually my first ever real estate person. But it really wasn't real estate. Like, I did it pro bono just for the heck of it,
Yeah,
to just get exposure into, like, real estate stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of hit it off from there. And then we had the winter come around, and it was, like, slowish. And then we waited till, like, July, and he's been pumping them out like a machine now.
Awesome.
So he's on a roll to do some big things.
Well, I'm interviewing Kyle Saboth on Friday,
Mm-hmm.
who, as you know, is with Keller Williams. Now he's with Century 21,
Mm-hmm.
top realtor in the country.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited to maybe meet the next up and coming
Up and coming. That's the goal.
high volume realtor.
He's doing a lot. I mean, we have big goals, obviously, but, 5 under contract by yourself in like a month for just being out the door, like in a year, is not too
It's
bad.
impressive.
Not bad. So
Awesome.
he's working hard to get more out there. So you'll be seeing him.
Cool. So Michael Harrison, you're up next.
Michael Harrison,
Episode number 4.
episode 4. It was
Cool.
good. Episode 3, that's for sure.
So
One fun.
Josh, again,
Thanks, Greg. It
great
was
time. Great time. And, it's something where I don't know, or I didn't know you
good. Mm-hmm.
2 hours ago,
Mm-hmm.
but now I feel like
That's it. You heard my story.
I
I
got
know you.
I got pages of stuff and now I can comfortably say, oh yeah, call Josh.
And I know Greg.
Same.
And that's fantastic. I didn't
That's
know
all
Greg,
about.
and now I know Greg.
We couldn't do this in 2 minutes.
No, sir. Not 2 minutes. Sorry.
We need the long
We need an
format.
hour and a half.
So if anybody wants to get in touch with you,
Yes.
how should they do so?
You could reach out to me. I'm always active on Facebook. Or, if you would like, feel free to give me a call. It's 401-426-7853. Call or text is fine. And I'll be speaking with you.
And what if you don't pick up the phone?
I'll text you or call you back. I call you back. I'm not like that.
Right on.
Bam.
So again, thank you very much. And thank you all for tuning in. Episode 4 coming up soon
Yes.
with our
I'll
good
give you
friend.
his details, so.
And any questions you have for me, any questions for Josh, just throw them in the comments below. And once again, we're here at Nexus's headquarters in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. Your property managed.